Hello there. Pull up a chair and let's have a coffee. Today, I want to take some time to share everything I've just absorbed after devouring two incredibly high-quality podcast episodes featuring Jay Shetty and Dr. Daniel Amen. This isn't going to be a dry, bullet-pointed summary. Instead, I've structured it into a deep, comprehensive talk. If you can spare the time to listen to all of this, it will take a little over 20 minutes. I believe the way you view focus, the brain, and the people around you, from your children and spouse to your colleagues, will change completely. Let's get started. Part 1, the cognitive shock. We are misunderstanding ADHD. First, we need to shatter the most damaging misconception that almost everyone has. Usually, when you hear ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, what image comes to mind? Is it mischievous little kids running around wildly, refusing to sit still in class? If you think that, you're just like I was at first. But Dr. Amen says, wrong. That is just the tip of the iceberg. He has scanned the brains of over 200,000 people, from billionaire CEOs to dangerous inmates, and he discovered that ADHD is actually a problem with the prefrontal cortex. Imagine the prefrontal cortex as the CEO of the brain. This CEO is in charge of planning, focus, and most importantly, controlling speech and behavior. In a neurotypical person, when you try to focus on a boring task like doing taxes or listening to a dull lecture, your brain pumps blood and dopamine to the prefrontal cortex to turn on the lights for the CEO to work. But in a person with ADHD, there is an incredibly strange paradox. When they try to focus on something they don't like, the blood flow to the prefrontal cortex actually decreases. Sounds illogical, right? The harder they try, the more the brain shuts down. The more you force a child to sit at a desk, the more zoned out and groggy they become. It's not that they are lazy or bad, it's a biological mechanism. Their brain is literally powering down. However, if you let them do something they love, like playing video games, drawing, or flirting with a new crush, their brain naturally produces massive amounts of dopamine, and they focus intensely, so much so that they can't even hear you calling them. So people with ADHD don't lack attention, they lack the ability to control their attention. They are always starving for stimulation. Part 2, not everyone is the same. The 7 types of ADHD. This is the most valuable part of this talk. Historically, medicine has often treated ADHD as a single condition, prescribing stimulants like Ritalin or Adderall to everyone who has it. Dr. Amen says doing that is like throwing darts in the dark. He distinguishes up to 7 types of ADHD. Listen carefully. I bet you will see a reflection of yourself or someone you know in one of these 7 types. 1. Classic ADHD. This is the type we usually see in movies. These individuals can never sit still. Hands and feet are always fidgeting, legs bouncing. They talk nonstop. They are very impulsive, saying whatever they think and regretting it only after it's done. This is more commonly found in men. 2. Inattentive ADHD. I have the most empathy for this type because they are often misunderstood, and it is frequently found in women. They aren't disruptive. They sit quietly, as good as gold, but their heads are in the clouds. Example, a little girl sitting in class, looking at the board, nodding along, but her mind is thinking about the movie she watched last night. She often forgets her keys or seems absent-minded. Teachers and parents often scold them for being lazy or not trying, but in reality, their brain lacks the energy it keeps turning off like a light bulb with a loose filament. 3. Over-focused ADHD. Sounds strange? This type isn't about not being able to focus, but about not being able to shift focus. They get stuck. Imagine a person who, if you change plans at the last minute, will be grumpy all day. Or a child who loses a video game and agonizes over it, talking about that game through the entire meal. They tend to worry, argue, and are very rigid. Important note, if you give this type stimulants standard ADHD medication, they will become even more anxious and stuck. 4. Temporal lobe ADHD. This type is related to emotions and temperament. Their mood changes erratically like the weather. One minute they are happy, the next they fly into a rage over something tiny. They often have headaches, stomach aches with no clear cause, and sometimes experience déjà vu, feeling like they've seen something before. 5. Limbic ADHD. This type looks a lot like depression. They aren't hyperactive, they are lethargic. They view life through a gray lens. Their energy is always low. They wake up still feeling tired. They don't just lose focus, they lose interest in life. 6. Ring of Fire ADHD. The name sounds cool, but the reality is miserable. On a brain scan, their brain is overactive everywhere, glowing red like a ring of fire. They are hypersensitive. The sound of someone chewing gum next to them can drive them crazy. Neon lights hurt their eyes. A shirt tag rubbing against their neck feels unbearable. Giving stimulants to this group is like throwing gasoline on a fire. They will explode immediately. 7. Anxious ADHD. They lose focus because they are too afraid. Their body is always tense, heart racing, or suffering from stress-induced stomach aches. You see, 7 different types of people, 7 different brains. If you don't know which type you have and just take medication indiscriminately, it could actually be harmful. Part 3, the penguin and love. Now let's talk about relationships. ADHD destroys relationships more than we imagine. Dr. Amen explains that love is a natural stimulant. When first falling in love, the brain releases a flood of dopamine. People with ADHD absolutely love this feeling, addicted to love. But when the honeymoon phase passes after a few months, dopamine drops. At this point, the person with ADHD unconsciously seeks new stimulation. And what is the fastest way? Conflict, because arguing also creates adrenaline and dopamine. They start nitpicking and provoking their partner to find that thrill. So what is the solution? Dr. Amen told a wonderful story about Fat Freddy the penguin. This is the part I resonated with the most. The story goes that Dr. Amen had an adopted son with ADHD who was very stubborn. He was a child psychiatrist. Yet at home, he was helpless with his son. One day, he took his son to a sea circus in Hawaii to de-stress. He watched a penguin named Freddy do all sorts of tricks. High diving, walking, a tightrope, retrieving objects. Amazed, he approached the trainer and asked, "Hey, how did you teach him so well? This penguin Freddy is surely not as smart as my son. Yet when I ask my son to just pick up a shirt, he argues with me for 20 minutes. The trainer looked at him and gave a fatal reply. The difference lies here. When Freddy does what I want, what do? I hug him, I pet him, and I give him a fish immediately. But when he does something wrong, I ignore him. I pretend I don't see it." She continued, "But parents like you are the opposite. When your child is good, sitting still, and doing well in school, you take it for granted. You don't pay attention to them because you're busy. But the moment they do something wrong or act out, you immediately jump up, you yell, you give them all your attention. Unintentionally, you are teaching your child, if you want dad's attention, be bad." Dr. Amen said he froze in that moment. He realized he had become a fault-finding machine. And the lesson here is, notice what you like more than what you don't. It's the same in a marriage. Don't become a cop constantly catching the mistakes of your partner with ADHD who is naturally forgetful and messy. Instead, see them wash the dishes, praise them immediately, see them come home on time, show your joy immediately. That positive reinforcement helps their brain release healthy dopamine, and they will want to repeat that good behavior. Part 4, actionable solutions, biohacking the brain. By now, you're probably asking, so what now? Do I have to take medication forever? Dr. Amen says, first, do no harm. Medication is necessary just like a nearsighted person needs glasses, but before using medication, try repairing your lifestyle first. He calls it biohacking. Here is the protocol he recommends, which you can apply starting tomorrow. The one-page miracle exercise. He makes all his patients do this. Take a sheet of paper. Write down what you want in 4 areas: relationships, work, money, physical health, and mental health. Post it somewhere visible. Mirror fridge. Every time you are about to do something, eat that cake, scroll TikTok all night, or yell at your child, ask yourself, does this behavior help me get what I want on this paper? This helps wake up the CEO prefrontal cortex to control behavior instead of letting instinct lead. 2. The Elimination Diet. He affirms something very profound. If you eat fast food, you will have a fast brain. He advises trying this for 1 month. Eliminate the enemies of the brain. Sugar and artificial sweeteners. Enemy hay shown. It excites the brain and then causes it to crash, causing loss of focus. Gluten, wheat, dairy, corn, these easily cause brain inflammation and brain fog. He says 70% of children with ADHD see a significant reduction in symptoms just by changing to this diet. 3. Breakfast of champions. Absolutely no pastries, bread, or sugary cereals in the morning. Eat protein. Eggs, chicken, nuts. Protein helps stabilize blood sugar and provides the building blocks for the brain to produce dopamine. Eating protein in the morning helps maintain focus more sustainably throughout the day. 4. Supplement strategy. Before using prescription drugs, try. Saffron studies show it can be as effective as Ritalin in increasing focus and improving mood without side effects. Omega-3. Extremely important for brain cells. Morning exercise to pump blood to the brain as soon as you wake up. 5. Finally, medication. If you have done all the above, clean eating, good sleep, exercise, and are still struggling, then medication is necessary. Don't stigmatize it. If your child has a severe case and you withhold medication, it is as cruel as withholding glasses from a nearsighted person. But remember, use the right medication for the right type of brain. Conclusion. In summary, the biggest message I want to send you through this long story is empathy and hope. Dr. Amen has a saying that I love: you are not stuck with the brain you have. You can make it better. ADHD is not a death sentence, nor is it stupidity or laziness. There are many CEOs, Olympic athletes, and brilliant creators with ADHD. The difference is they know how to care for and drive their brains. If you find yourself forgetting things or procrastinating, don't label yourself a failure. Start with small things: less scrolling on your phone, less sugar. Praise your loved ones, more like training a penguin. And understand that sometimes their lack of focus isn't because they don't care about you, but because their brain needs help. Thank you for patiently listening for over 20 minutes. I hope this knowledge will be a map to help you and your family go in the right direction. Now, go try writing your one-page miracle right away.